Some athletes dominate one sport, others try to cross over, but very few dare to step from scripted spectacle into the unforgiving reality of a real fight. Today, we're looking at wrestlers who actually stepped into the MMA cage. No scripts, no choreography, just fists, pressure, and consequences. From Dave Bautista's surprising debut to Bobby Lashley proving he was far more than a pro wrestling powerhouse, these fights show what really happens when entertainment meets real combat. And trust me, some of these moments did not go the way people expected. If you enjoy real fight stories like this, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and drop a comment telling me which crossover fighter surprised you the most. Let's get into it. Bobby Lashley versus Bob Sapp, a former K1 heavyweight known for his size. On paper, the contest resembled a meeting of two imposing heavyweights. Inside the cage, however, the difference became clear. Lashley demonstrated that quickly. As the opening round began, he secured a takedown without much resistance and immediately began delivering heavy ground and pound from the top position. Once the action began, the sequence unfolded quickly. Lashley closed distance, brought his opponent to the canvas, and immediately established the position he wanted. From there, the left hand started dropping repeatedly.
Down on the canvas. Bob Sapp holds the head in, and is Lashley going to cracking him with the right hand. Now the left hand's come down. How about this? He takes him right down where he doesn't want to be.
Roughly 3 minutes into the round, Sapp signaled his submission. He tapped out while absorbing strikes.
Yeah, the crowd would be much happier if they got up on their feet and just blasted the daylights out of each other.
Yeah, Sapp is taking a little bit of a beating here.
Very heavy.
He's tapping. He just tapped.
Did he tap?
He did tap. Yeah, he did tap.
But the referee didn't see it.
Yeah, I think he just tapped.
Well, let's see how much more punishment he got.
In mixed martial arts, that kind of exit often draws criticism, though in Sapp's career, it had appeared more than once. It became a familiar way for his fights to conclude. Bobby Lashley versus Mike Cook. The next example involves a different approach to the transition from WWE to MMA. Bobby Lashley approached the change deliberately, building on a background that already included amateur wrestling, military service, and a clear intention to establish himself as a genuine combat sports competitor. 15 victories against only 2 defeats. That record alone raises a fair question. How capable was he inside the cage? To get a clearer picture, it helps to revisit some of his early appearances. One of those bouts placed him opposite Mike Cook.
My fighting style is boxing / submission fighting. And fighting Bobby Lashley, I know he was on TV as a wrestler, that's fine. He will his pants once he gets hit. And it's going to be very fast. It's going to be tap, tap, tap on his chin, and it's going to go straight to the ground, and he's going to be on his back. I'll be raising my hand. I will finish this fight in one of 2 ways. I will either make him tap out from punches, I will knock him out, or I'll throw a third one in for you guys, and I'll submit.
Lashley approached the situation differently. Those familiar only with his time in WWE might have expected theatrics or loud talk.
My name is Bobby Lashley. Fighting style is ground and pound. Well, I know he's going to brawl, so I'm going to bring it to him the same way he's going to bring it to me. It's going to be a very intense fight. We're just going to battle, brawl, and someone's going to drop. This fight means everything for my career. Every fight that I have means a tremendous amount for my career. I have to keep moving forward, I have to keep winning, and I got to keep moving up the ladder.
Display figure. Cook studied him closely before the fight, carrying the mindset of someone eager to prove a point. With 10 amateur bouts and 7 victories behind him, he likely believed this matchup would highlight the gap between a seasoned fighter and a crossover from professional wrestling. Right before the opening, Lashley declined the customary glove touch. Cook reacted immediately, questioning the gesture and inviting him forward instead. The invitation didn't take long to be answered.
No touching gloves from Bobby Lashley.
Once the fight began, Lashley closed the distance and finished the exchange with striking speed.
Mike Cook in this heavyweight battle. And right away,
he's going for a guillotine.
Lashley going for a guillotine.
You let it go. Oh,
look at that. Look at this. Bobby Lashley coming in.
For Mike Cook, the ending came as a shock. The speed of the finish left little time to process what had happened. In the post-fight interview, Lashley addressed the perception directly. He made it clear he wasn't entering MMA as a novelty performer from WWE. His intention was to be taken seriously as a legitimate competitor.
Talk a little bit about there is no hand tapping. You seem pretty annoyed by the mask that Mike Cook was wearing.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm here for business. Everybody comes out there with this wrestling thing and tries to make fun of the wrestling thing. I'm real. You know, I'm coming out here to fight. If they don't want to fight me, they can play around. If they play around, I'm going to knock them out or choke them out. And that's what I did today. Choked him out, made him pay. Now I can go put back on the mask and have fun with himself.
Fight 1. Dave Bautista versus Vince Lucero. Let's begin elsewhere, with a man defined less by image and more by persistence. Before Hollywood roles and beyond the spectacle of professional wrestling, Dave Bautista built a reputation through work ethic. His transition away from WWE in June 2010 led him to an unexpected announcement inside Strikeforce. He intended to pursue mixed martial arts, fully aware the move would not come close to matching his wrestling income. "I just want experience," he said. Building a lasting MMA career was not the objective. For years, he had quietly trained in different martial arts disciplines, including during his wrestling run. His first appearance arrived in May 2012. Across from him stood Vince Lucero, a seasoned competitor who had already accumulated more than 40 professional bouts. Still, the label journeyman can be misleading. Lucero carried the habits of a longtime veteran. Victory was the intention. Dave Bautista entered the cage aggressively. A large group of cornermen surrounded him, the kind of team that fills the air with encouragement. Around 260 pounds of dense muscle. If someone built like that also understands how to fight, the situation quickly becomes intimidating.
And for many, many different reasons, not only the physical contact, but what you ask your body to do.
In Tampa, training with Josh Rafferty, who was a contestant on the debut season of The Ultimate Fighter, so he's got the right people in his ear.
Confidence wasn't limited to one side. Vince Elmar Lucero carried the same certainty into the bout. In his view, this was his territory. The physique across from him didn't impress him much. Muscle alone wouldn't decide the outcome. Both men kept the face-off measured and respectful. Lucero even appeared unusually calm, as if it were just another routine appearance at work. A fight involving Dave Bautista naturally drew attention, and that meant a much larger audience than usual, perhaps even forcing Dana White to notice and offer a contract with the UFC. Across from him, Dave Bautista projected a different mindset. There was nothing to prove publicly. The intention was simple: compete, enjoy the experience, and impose himself physically. Once the opening bell sounded, Lucero moved forward immediately. Early exchanges were not one-sided. He landed several firm punches, and a few of them visibly shook Bautista.
Bautista's got his hands up high. Short right hand.
Sarah comes in right away with the right hand, and another right.
Another right.
He lands two big rights.
He's landed 2 or 3 big rights.
Bautista with the knee.
A third, a fourth.
Well, Sarah just letting it all hang out.
Over the top.
The opening moments confirmed a familiar lesson in combat sports. Appearance rarely predicts impact. Lucero intended to demonstrate the gap between a seasoned MMA veteran and someone stepping into professional competition for the first time.
Big right and left by Lucero. He's landing.
Right leg kick.
Another big left hand from Lucero.
He's throwing great kicks. There's a right hand by Bautista. Left hook, right cross. Another left hook, right cross. Bautista looks to...
After a brief period of clinching and short-range exchanges against the fence, the direction of the fight shifted. The striking battle was abandoned. Dave Bautista changed levels and secured a takedown, steering the contest into grappling where he intended to work from top position.
No, he shoots right in for the takedown and he gets it.
Big takedown by David.
On the mat, the dynamic settled firmly in his favor. Lucero suddenly found himself underneath a heavy opponent who was difficult to move. Escaping the pressure proved nearly impossible, leaving him focused mostly on enduring the position. Control soon turned into offense as Bautista delivered sustained ground and pound, a sequence that continued until the referee intervened and halted the contest.
So a couple of those to the back of the head.
Has to answer. These punches are coming in from both sides.
He's going to stop the fight if this keeps up.
This might not last much
Maybe
longer.
2 or 3 more punches. That's it.
The stoppage came at the end of the opening round, and the reaction from Dave Bautista suggested he expected the fight to continue. The referee, however, had already made the decision. The bout was finished. A brief complaint followed from Vince Lucero regarding strikes that brushed the back of the head during the barrage. In reality, only a small number appeared to land in that area. When the head turns away under pressure, occasional contact behind it can happen. Moments later, Lucero tried to shift the tone with aggressive words, speaking as though the contest had been closer than it was. The scene did little to help his case. After the loss, talk of attracting the attention of Dana White and the UFC felt unrealistic. Once tempers settled, though, Lucero approached Bautista and offered a handshake. During the post-fight interview, Dave Bautista mentioned that he would be open to competing again. Judging by the way the bout unfolded, the suggestion didn't sound unreasonable.
So when do you think you want to fight again? You know, something you want to do right away, or wait a little bit, or what are you thinking?
No, I want to fight again, for sure. I think, it was a matter of getting this first one out of the way. The guys will tell you I was just so nervous, I had so many butterflies coming out. But, I think it got the best of me a little bit.
I think you handle butterflies pretty well.
In practice, however, that appearance became both the beginning and the end of his mixed martial arts career. What followed was momentum in a different industry. Bautista soon found steady work in major productions, including Guardians of the Galaxy, Blade Runner 2049, and Dune. The shift proved successful. Had acting not accelerated the way it did, another appearance inside the cage might have happened. Even so, stepping into a legitimate fight without scripts or staged outcomes carries its own credibility. Bobby Lashley versus John Aught. The next example in Bobby Lashley's run came against John Aught. By that point, Lashley already carried 6 professional bouts on his record. Experience was beginning to show in his approach. When the fight started, he relied on the tactic that had defined many of his early performances: explosive wrestling. The opening exchange ended with a powerful slam that rattled the cage.
A lot of movement early on here from Aught. Double leg Lashley!
The opening exchanges quickly made Lashley's intention clear. Bobby Lashley pressed forward with urgency, and once the fight reached the canvas, the tone changed immediately. The ground and pound that followed was relentless, delivered with little pause and aimed at forcing a finish as quickly as possible.
It's been caught now! Carry your weight the entire time. Aught took a clean forearm and another one to the side of the left eye. Bobby Lashley is unleashing hell.
That sequence defined most of the first round. Lashley remained on top, repeatedly striking while maintaining heavy control. From the bottom, John Aught had few chances to respond and appeared focused mainly on enduring the pressure. At times, it almost seemed as if he was waiting for the referee to intervene rather than finding an opening to escape.
Aught trying to move his head, throws up the hands.
The official, however, allowed the action to continue. The round closed with Lashley clearly ahead after sustained defense, while Aught had produced little beyond defensive survival.
Lashley has just pictured up the face here of John Aught, but John Aught somehow still surviving. Cut, bruised, blasted. Oh, that could be it now.
Carrying that much muscle can drain energy quickly, and the pace of the first round had taken its toll. Aught, meanwhile, returned looking prepared to absorb more punishment. Any expectation that the referee might intervene early didn't materialize. The fight continued, though the contrast between rounds was noticeable. Bobby Lashley approached the second more cautiously. The strength remained evident, but the same explosive urgency was missing. Even so, near the 2-minute mark, he secured another takedown, shifting the fight back into familiar territory. From top position, he applied heavy pressure again, controlling the action while delivering sharp elbows that opened cuts.
Puffed up. You're in a bad position now because you let Lashley get the north-south, which leaves your head wide open. So unless you got a really good submission game from here, or to hold a guy down there and hit him when he doesn't want to be held down or doesn't want to be hit. That said, Frank, can Lashley go for a submission from here? He's got a topside armbar, he's got a reverse, he's got a Kimura Americana the other side.
The strikes lacked the same volume seen earlier, yet the situation was still difficult for John Aught, spending another round underneath Lashley was far from comfortable, even if the damage arrived at a slower pace. The third round brought a different dynamic. Lashley appeared exhausted and attempted another takedown that Aught managed to stop.
Yes! Aught's got some game! Aught's got some gusto!
With the wrestling neutralized for the moment, the fight remained standing. For the first time in the contest, Aught began landing his own punches, showing signs of offense rather than simply absorbing pressure.
Overhand right! And scores! No! Don't get sucked into the double leg!
And he backs out. He's got game and he can throw these big haymakers and hit him one time, knock him down and give him a flash knockout.
They've got to know that Lashley is ripe for the picking here!
By that stage, however, fatigue was obvious. Much of the control looked more like survival than offense, with Lashley conserving what remained of his energy. When the bout ended, the judges awarded him a decision victory. Though the performance made one limitation clear, carrying that much muscle made sustaining a full 3-round pace difficult. Even so, the overall showing remained respectable, particularly the dominant opening round that set the tone early. Lashley adjusted his preparation and entered the fight in slightly leaner condition, aiming to improve endurance and avoid the same level of exhaustion.
Bobby, how you feeling for this fight? And obviously you've taken some weight off also. And tell us the reasoning behind getting the weight off.
Well, you know, I just went through a different kind of training camp this time. I wanted to be a little bit leaner, and I'm actually going to make my way down to 205. So here's the process starting. I mean, I think I weighed in a little bit under 240 today. I'm moving quicker, moving faster, a little bit more cardio, so I feel good.
The opponent that night was Kevin Aspund. At the start of the fight, Lashley relied on the same foundation that had worked before, quickly securing a takedown.
Individuals in. Lashley shoots in for a single, gets that takedown.
Aspund proved more resilient than expected. Using the cage effectively, he worked his way back to standing position and demonstrated solid defensive awareness.
Some subs with Josh Barnett. Aspund gets back to his feet.
Walking up that cage, smart move.
The effort didn't slow Lashley for long. He forced another takedown and spent the remainder of the round delivering steady ground and pound from the top.
Arm with his shin.
That is a big, strong man to have on top of you, pounding away. Still inside control, Bobby Lashley. 1 minute 35 remaining in this first round, set for 3.
Aspund bragged a lot about his jaw, but
he's truly getting tested as Lashley just thunderous. Big, booming meat hooks. Hands like car batteries.
By the end of the opening round, the damage was already visible on Kevin Aspund. His face was marked and bleeding after the sustained ground strikes delivered from top position by Bobby Lashley.
For a single, Bobby Lashley wants the takedown. He'll get the take.
When the second round began, Lashley moved immediately back to wrestling. Another takedown came without much delay, placing the fight once again where he was most effective. This time, the sequence developed differently. Instead of relying only on strikes, Lashley transitioned methodically on the ground and secured a keylock submission. With the pressure fully applied, Aspund had no option but to tap.
Taps out, second round, Bobby Lashley with the victory.
Give it up for Bobby Lashley!
If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, and share it with another fight fan. And let me know in the comments which crossover fighter I should cover next. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.